Hey guys, Debbie Hodge here from GetItScrap.com. At GetItScrap.com, we show people how to give their photos stories and give those stories a home. In other words, we're showing people how to scrapbook. So you can find us at GetItScrap.com. And today I'm here with some quick ideas for scrapbook page titles. Give me a heart if you're always looking for a cool scrapbook page title, for a clever approach on it, for the content, and for the design. I've got ideas from a few of the designers who've taught in our classes at Get It Scrapped. In fact, I pulled these out of a lookbook. We have a series of lookbooks that are really gorgeous. And you get to look at a lookbook. You get a little sliver of a lookbook right now. So also tell me in the comments what's your favorite way to do a scrapbook page title. I would love to know. And what I'm going to work you through right now, I'm going to start with the simplest approach and just sort of stack on because I'm kind of a logical person and I like to just take things simply. So the simplest scrapbook page kind of title that you could use would be the simple label. And right now I'm showing you a page by Tammy Taylor called Kyle. The label is her son's name. So simple label, his name. You don't have to use the name. You could also use a label that describes your subject. This page is by Kelly Noel. Look at this adorable baby. And she called this page Chatty. So your simple label could be a name. It could be the name of a person, of a place, or of an attribute like being chatty, or of a place. So that's really the simplest kind of title that you can put on there. And I don't always use these just because I want to be simple in thought, because I can't come up with something. They can be really impactful titles because they're usually kind of short and they'll fit a discrete amount of space. They let you work with your favorite alpha. And do you guys have a favorite alpha? Let me know what your favorite alpha is. Give me some love if you love alphas. And, you know, you can get short on pieces, so it's nice to just pick something that you can use in a bold way. And if we take a look at design tips to go with these simple labels, something cool that Tammy's done here is to, look at me, I'm putting my head on my side, is she's put her title on its side. She's run it right along the side of her photo. It's in like an indigo that really stands out here, and it's really cool, and it's in upper and lower case. And her son's name is Kyle, and it's just 4 letters. I hope he finds this video because I believe he's off in the military now. Love looking at scrapbook pages of scrapbookers I've known for years as their kids grow up. So that's a design tip, not only to go with a name, but try to consider putting it sideways. And in this case, she overlapped it along the edge of the photo. I'm going to show you another one, another title that's sideways, that's rendered a little bit differently. Every little choice you make makes a difference in the design. Every little choice you make should be purposeful. So now take a look at Kelly Noel's. Here's another little design tip. She used little brackets from her alpha for her title. It's just cool. It's just an extra little thing you can do. Just make it fun, make it look great. And I noticed she's also got an S here, right here. And I'm not sure what the S is for because I'm looking to see. I don't think that's the name of her son there. But she's got an S there. Wonder what that's for. I'll have to find out. All right, so simple label, first title idea. Next title idea that I've got for you is to use a simple label with a descriptor. So you've got your label, now let's give it an adjective. So this page is by Shelley Jaquette, and it's called Happy Campers. So campers is the label, right? And you know, what do we got here? Campers. What are they? Happy. So a label with an adjective. And when you pick that, you know, think about, you know, make it meaningful. So a design tip that I want to point out here is when you have 2 alphas for your title, make sure that there's a lot of contrast between the alphas that you use. And in fact, it looks like she's used, I don't think this is either hand cut or cut with her die cut machine. So Campers is cut, and it's in a script, and it's in pale blue, and upper and lower case, and it just kind of sails along, and it's got all kinds of ascenders and descenders. It's got a really fluid feel to it. And then Happy is in a black glossy, I think it's glossy alpha, all caps, a sans serif font. It's smaller, so we've got a lot of contrast. We've got contrast in color, in texture, in size, in alpha case. So if you're going to use 2 different alphas, make sure that they really contrast strongly. It'll give you more impact on your page. So that was idea number 2. Did you like that one? All right, idea number 3. A message. Kim Watson is the queen of using messages for her titles on her scrapbook page. Here she says, I might not always get it. Whoops, sorry about that. be you and find what makes you happy. So this is a message to her daughter who's dressed up really cutely. So think about your page, think about what you're doing. Is there a message you could send with it? And these probably tend to be sort of more moment portrait kind of pages as opposed to an event or a holiday. This is where you're featuring somebody, and this is your chance to speak from, from wherever you are. Somebody might take a look at this page years later when they're at college and you're not with them, but there's your message going out over to them through a message as your title. And you can find a lot of word art often that has messages, but of course Kim has rendered this with a whole combo of alphas and the design liftable here. Did I already say some of us scrap lift and we lift a whole page, but I love to take liftables, little chunks that I can lift. So the liftable here is making your title the focal point on the page. Really, the BU is a great big old bold focal point, but the might not always is also strong because it's in black. So she segues in, I might not always get it, BU, find what makes you happy. So we've got the black bracketing either side of this really big all caps BU cutout alpha. So a message. Closely related to a message would be a statement. This page is by Erin Clayton, and the page is about how she loves the beach and the effect that it has on her. And her title is The Beach Calms Me. It's a statement. It's just something telling us about where she's at, a truth in her life. So it's really lovely, and I think the rendering of it goes a long way to the feeling. The beach calms me. Just the way that it's rendered with the script and the small little alphas does feel calm to me. And here's a design liftable for you. Find some open space on your photo and layer your title onto that open space of your photo. How many of you guys do that? How many of you layer your title onto your photo? I'm not big at that, but I need to do it more. I think it's pretty cool, and it lets you give your photo more space on the page even sometimes. So that was idea number 4, a statement. Got any pages that you can think about that? All right, title number 5 is to take your title from the journaling. This page is by Emily Pitts, and it is the story of, I believe, her engagement to her husband. Isn't it cute? There's a picture of her young with her husband, and the title is Being That She Was His Sweetheart. And if you could read the journaling, this is from, I think, the one of the classes in our membership, the one called Telling Stories. That's where it's from. And the journaling has this really lovely repetition about, things they did together and how it all built up. And she keeps repeating this, being that she was his sweetheart, she, said sure. Being that she was his sweetheart, she prepared their, favorite little snack as they went out on their hike. I can't remember the story exactly, but she keeps repeating being that she was his sweetheart in the story, and that's what she's also used as her title. So can you take your title from your journaling? Design-wise, something to note here is, look how pretty and lovely this page is. Lots of color and flowers and rick-rack, so it's kind of whimsical and pretty. And then the title is this really jiggity-jaggedy stamped black alpha, and that black just really stands out. It's big. She did a little double stampling just to get a wonky look to it, so it really stands out there. So you don't always have to keep your journaling in line with all the elements that you use. I mean, not your journaling, but your title. And when you do this, it really stands out. Like, I would say this is, again, just as Kim's page, the title was the focal point, I would say the title is the focal point here too, by merit of its size and also just how that black stamped ink alphas really stand out. So that's idea number 5. Take your journaling, take your title from the journaling. All right, do any of you guys ever do that? Do you like doing that? Do you have a hard time doing that? I mean, I guess the thing with that is you need to write your journaling first, and I'm somebody who likes to think about where I'm going to put my title early on, so you'd have to, work in a different order. All right, this page is by Shan Fair. Isn't this beautifully? So the idea for your title content that I want to share with you on this one is to use wordplay with your story and with your meaning. This page is about, Sean plays with her mom's glasses and how one sees, but also how she sees her mom years later in retrospect. And she's called it See Clearly, which I think is really lovely. And she also talks about how she loved these glasses of her mother's and that her mom had different clip-ons with different patterns and she wanted a pair like that. It's just a lovely page. So what kind of wordplay, double meaning, cleverness can you do for your title? Those are a little harder to come up with, but there's a great payoff when you do that. Let's see, what do I want to point out design-wise with this? So again, we've got a sideways title.
that's running along here. And I want you to notice how always everything matters, the choices that you make. She's used all uppercase alphas, and that means she gets a really clear block out of it. If she had used upper and lower together, then you'd have jigjags, or even if she had used all lower, you would have the ascenders and the descenders. And Tammy did that with Kyle. She laid it over her photo, and I think that was really nice because you didn't get any trapped space within things. Like if you imagine that this had upper and lower, and the Y would descend, right? And the L would ascend. You could get just some trapped white space right within there, but when it's all upper, you have a really nice block. And then also notice how the title basically aligns with the top of her journaling block and almost the bottom of her journaling block. So there's some precision there. So that's number 6, wordplay. Number 7, you can take your title from the things that people say. And this is a page I made, and it says, "Hey Josh, want to hang out?" And Isaac always used to say that to Josh, and he used to love it if Josh would hang out with him. So there they are, hanging out with their laptops many years ago. So what do people say that you could pull into your title? This is one of my favorite ways to title things. I have a lot of pages like this. So design-wise, what I want to point out here is I used a lot of different fonts and alphas. There's a lot going on here. What unites it is it does work as a block, all going down the left side of the photo. And then the other thing that works is it's all in browns or creams. So there's some unity there, because that could get pretty confusing. All right, did you like that? Okay, I've got one more idea. Make sure that you give me a heart if you liked one of these ideas. Make sure you thumbs up, or let me know which ideas you like. Let me know which ideas you think you might use, or which ideas you use a lot. I would love to know. So here, finally, take your title from popular culture. You believe this? I was able to pull 2 layouts from the Get It Scrapped classes, and they each use the title "How I Met Your Father." This one on the left is by Dina Wakely, and this one on the right is by Patty Knox. I love that they both use this, and they're both telling this story, and they take that from the TV show How I Met Your Father. Design-wise, take a look at Dina's. She used some ephemera. It looks like an old flashcard with the word "met" on it, and she wrote in "How I," and then there's "met" from the card, "your father." Pretty cool, huh? And then Patty used fonts on a piece of paper. And she's actually got a love story in reverse, and the journaling's really, really wonderful on that. That's a part of our old photos class. Patty did a lot of pages for that. So those are 8 ideas for coming up with the content of your title. Take your title from popular culture, take it from things people say, take it from wordplay, take it from the journaling, make a statement, send a message, use a descriptor plus a label, or use a simple label. So I'm hoping that I gave you some ideas here for coming up with the content of your title, and also the rendering of it, because I love liftables. Make sure also that you're a part of our Facebook group at getitscrapped.com/FB group, because that's the best way to know when I'm sharing ideas. I've got a webinar coming up on scrapbook page titles. It'll be an hour-long class packed with title goodness. So make sure you're at getitscrapped.com/FB group. That'll get you in our Facebook group, or you could look for Get It Scrapped Community and Facebook that group. But join us there, and be sure and tell me, what's your favorite title you've ever come up with? I would love to know. Even link me up your scrapbook page if you can. But tell me the favorite title you've ever come up with, or your go-to approach for it. All right, happy scrapping. Bye.